Good. Okay. So coming up, we got episode 11 of the Tailgate Show on Sunday. It's going to be our SEC college football preview. Right now, this is going to be a little midweek episode. We're going to catch up on the Braves and do a little update on the Braves because things haven't gone so swell for the Atlanta Braves in the past 2 to 3 weeks.
Not.
This is one of the worst runs that a team has had this year, and there's some probably signs of panic. So we're going to get right into that. So first off, Braves played the White Sox June 9th and 10th. So earlier this month, they lost both games. Game 3 got postponed until later in the season due to weather. They go to play the Mets, one of the worst teams in the league. They lose 2 out of 3, so they lose 2 series in a row. They go to the Giants. They lose 2 games there at home against San Francisco. They beat the Brewers, right? 2 out of 3, so they win a series back.
2 out of 3 from the best team in that run.
I know. And then they get swept by the Padres. They just got swept by the Padres.
You know, the Braves have lost 9 in a row in San Diego.
Yes. Yes,
they can't win
they
there.
Can't figure out. They can't win there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the Braves have won 3 of their last 13 games, so they're 3-10 in the last 13. Before that, they had swept the Pirates, so they were coming off a really strong sweep. And then what happened? And I'll tell you a couple things that happened. One, the pitching is getting exposed for what it is and what it's been the whole season. Guys like Bryce Elder and Grant Holmes have done well to start the season. Starting to realize that might have been a little smoke and mirrors because they have not been so well. Bryce Elder's given up 16 runs in the last 5 innings pitched. Grant Holmes has given up 7 runs in the last 4 innings pitched. So these are 2 pitchers that have just kind of fallen flat. And I knew this was coming because I knew that they were nothing more than a 4th or 5th rotation starter, maybe a AAA pitcher in some organizations. But that's the problem, right? Pitching.
Bryce Elder is a 4 or 5 guy.
Yes.
Grant Holmes is a 1 inning. He is a 6th inning guy. Okay, he's a 1 inning relief guy, or he's a minor league pitcher. One or the other.
Yep, he's a AAA starter, or
Richie
has done
that
fine.
Rough, yeah. Well, he'll have that inning or whatever, but you also got to remember the guy's 20 years old.
Right.
Okay. So, and it's okay. I'm not panicked about him. 5 years from now, as long as we don't let him go or whatever, Richie is going to be tearing up the league. Okay. Yeah. The guy's got stuff. He just needs some maturity. He needs some time at the big league level, and he needs to see the hitters a little bit more. So, I'm worried about that. Chris Sale is still a legit guy, but that's it. I mean, we got a very good bullpen.
You do. But you have Strider that's also hurt again, and I don't know what his problem is, but you see that, and a lot of people will dismiss it, and they'll say, Spencer Strider is, he's fine, like he'll work through it. But I'm telling you, when he threw that fastball in that 5th inning and it hit 93 miles an hour, I was like, something is wrong. If he's hitting 93 and that's all he can get, something's wrong with his arm.
So let's think about this, okay? Spencer Strider from Clemson, strike 1.
Yep.
Stupid porn stash, strike 2. On the DL every year. He's out of there. Boom.
Strike 3.
That's it. Ring his ass up.
Yep.
Put him on the golf cart. See ya.
And put him on the golf. We had who did we have?
Don't let him drive it because he'd pull a muscle and sue us.
Hey, so what we need to do is we need to take Eli White and pull him off the golf cart because he's actually done well lately.
Eli White is adjusted, so Eli White, he's off the golf. Yeah,
he's off the golf cart. Grant Holmes is still on it at the moment, just because of his up and down. Bryce Elder and Spencer Strider, go ahead and add them to the golf cart.
Yeah, and I'm willing to let Bryce Elder drive it. Okay.
Yeah.
So he can drive.
I mean,
I think he can probably get it out.
Let's look at
He's not terrible. He's the hitters figure him out. You
mentioned J.R. Ritchie.
Yeah.
Let's look at J.R. Ritchie last game. He went against the Padres in game 2. He gave up 5 runs in the 2nd inning and then went the next 4 innings and didn't give up any runs. Okay, so he found himself. He had a bad inning. Cool. Like you said, he's 20 years old. You can't expect too much of a rookie like that.
He's probably getting sent down, but 6 innings, 5 runs. I mean, he's as good as Elder and Grant Holmes right now. So not really worried about that.
So a lot of people will point towards the offense. The offense has not been as good, but they are still scoring runs. I feel like we've scored enough in the last couple games to win games if our pitching just did their job.
No,
we didn't do that.
You need a balance. Every once in a while, you got to put up some runs, especially with that offense. It's no reason they're not running it. I mean, they're just not putting up enough runs. There's too many guys. And the Braves problem is the lineup can't get set. Okay. Let
It's
me
too
go
many
back to the
people over there.
90s, okay? The Braves and the Yankees were the teams of the 90s, okay? Now they got more World Series, so they get that decade instead of us. If we would have won in 96, and then maybe we would have held on and won well, first of all, in 96 we should have won. In 97 we would have won, okay? We got cheated by Eric Gregg. End of story. There's no other way around it. It's just no way.
That was the Marlins.
The Braves would have won that game. We'd have been coming home up 3-2 with Maddox on the mound in Game 6. That would have been over. We would have beat the Indians. Okay, so that would have been 3. And then if you could have just pick up another, but it didn't happen. So the Yankees get it. But look though, what you had with those two teams, and a lot of teams that are successful, is you have an everyday lineup. Now a guy gets a day off here or there, or whatever, but you have an everyday lineup. I mean, the Yankees, how hard was it to make up their lineup? What, Jeter, O'Neill, Bernie Williams? I mean, it's not, it's not like it's hard. Same thing with the Braves, you had the same lineup. The Braves lineup keeps moving. He's moving people around. Obviously, Riley doesn't belong in hitting in the 3-hole or the 4-hole. So, he's moved down to like 6, 7, or 8. The one thing I will say about Riley is the guy don't have to take a month off every so often. Okay. You got these guys like Mauricio Dubon, okay, and not just because he's new to the Braves, but the guy's never had like DL time or whatever. Riley Olsen is like the Iron Man. Kim is always hurt, so he's out. But Mateo, even Eli White and Yastrzemski, those guys were never hurt. Albies is very rarely out on the DL. I mean, Albies will do something and it looks bad, and he's back one day later. So, but and then the catcher, I don't know. So we talked about. You and we talked about some of the problems that the Braves, and this has been like going on for 5 years. Okay, the issues, and I mean, go back to 2021. The Braves win the World Series. 5 of the starters, okay, were not on the roster when they started the season. All the guys that contributed on that team. I mean, the guy that hit the home run to Stadland Soler, picked him up. I mean, we went through and you had all these injuries, and you pick up guys and they played better than the guys that we thought we had. So my question is this just happen? Is what happens? Is it a cycle, or is there something up with the Braves? Is there something that we are doing that's going on there? The trainer, routines, plans, because it's been going on for 5 years. It's 5 years, man.
Yeah.
And when you go and you have Drake Baldwin that's out for a long time, Acuna's out and he's back and he's out. I mean, the other day I was talking about that, and someone was like, what is wrong with Acuna now? Is it a fingernail or is it a tooth? I mean, I don't know, man. It's just the guy is soft, man. The guy is soft or just unlucky.
Like I said, I think that I'm going to point to, if I had to put money, I'm going to say it's a training staff issue, and I think they're misdiagnosing people. And they're trying to rush people back, and I think that's been part of our problem. Is Acuna? They said he had a mild tear in his hamstring or a strain in his hamstring. Right? He comes back out there 2 weeks later, tears it like same hamstring issue again. He's pulling up, running to first, and it's
Man,
like
I've had a pulled hamstring
maybe
since 1986.
Well, the thing is, maybe he tore it, didn't just strain it, and you guys are saying, it's fine, and you didn't. Maybe you didn't do your due diligence. Maybe you didn't do the proper X-rays or the MRIs. Maybe you missed something. And I think this is happening a lot. And I don't think it's just Acuna's case. I think it's everybody's case. You got Sean Murphy that's been out for a while. You still have Schwellenbeck that's been out. You have Strider that's in and out of injury. I mean, you have Baldwin that just came back. It's one guy comes back healthy, and then immediately another person's like, I'm hurt. That's a problem. And it's a training staff thing. I don't think these guys are just generally soft. I don't think, maybe some to some extent, but I don't think that are getting hurt over and over. Look, you understand, Acuna loves playing baseball. Okay, the dude absolutely loves being out there on the field. Do you really think that he's purposely just like, I just don't want to play, man. I'm just going to keep acting like I'm hurt? No, I think he's genuinely getting hurt, and I think it has to do with his recovery and what the training staff is telling him and what the routine is for him. And I think it's something he needs to figure out going forward. We know he's already had 2 torn ACLs, but his ACLs haven't been a problem. He got the surgery done, and those haven't been an issue. It's been minor muscle stuff. And that tells me that the training staff isn't doing their job. They're not properly identifying things. They're not doing the proper, physical training and stuff like that. There's not. Maybe his off-season regimen is off, and that's part of the Braves' fault, okay? They can easily have him do stuff. I don't think it helps that Acuna decides to go and play in Venezuela in a league throughout the winter and just doesn't stop and doesn't take a break. I don't think that helps either. The guy just likes playing. I think that hurts him going into the season, but I do think it's a training staff issue. And if it's been happening for 5 years, Chief, and it's the same thing over and over again, it's not just the players. Something to do with how they're preparing.
Right.
It has to be. And like I said, the Braves just get plagued by the injury bug more than everybody every year. It's insane.
That's not a coincidence. It's not just a bad break. Something is up. So I don't understand all the hamstring injuries. Okay.
I don't either.
You stretch. You can avoid that injury just by a little bit of preparation.
Man, I've been in the Army for a little over 4 years. I do PT every single morning at 6:30 in the morning, and we do runs and long distance runs and all this lifting, and I do it consistently. I have not torn or had a hamstring injury in my entire time in the Army. I haven't had a quad injury. I haven't had a calf injury. All right. Anything I've had, it's been minor structural issues that can be fixed quickly, but I have never had my muscle is hurting so bad that I have to spend multiple weeks out. Never. I haven't. And I train, honestly, I would beg to say that I do just as strenuous work as any of those athletes do. I do just as much labor, if not more so. And I am never hurt like that. Ever. So it has to be something with training. These guys are not that maybe something minor happens and the training staff's like, you're good, man, just run back out there, instead of just letting them take a day or two, whatever. Or maybe the training staff's like, oh yeah, you don't need to hydrate, or maybe you need to follow this nutrition plan. There's a lot of things, but I'm telling you, I've never been hurt like they have, and I've never had reoccurring injuries because I take the proper rest and I don't go back until I'm ready. So 90% is not 100%, Chief. If you're 90%, you need to sit out.
That's not the way you do it. It's not. No.
I'm just saying.
You play through stuff. Yes. I couldn't be sitting there and then giggling and laughing and jogging or whatever. No, I'm going to play. I don't know. I know once on a Tuesday night, I injured my ankle, a bad fall in basketball. And it was from the toes all the way up above the little balls on your ankles. It was black and blue. Could barely put pressure on it that night. Went to the therapy. Iced it, rested, therapy again Thursday night, scored 23 points.
I get it.
Guys just don't have the fortitude, and you're like, well, they make a lot of money. They really need. Oh, come on, man. It's because they make that money. They need to give a little bit more effort.
No, I know. And I agree with that. But bottom line is, aside from all that, like, we understand.
And now somebody's hurt. They're hurt. I get it. Okay. But it's just, why do we have all these injuries? Something is wrong. And it's not just to run of bad luck for 5 years. All right.
No, it's not. Well, let's look at this. Aside from all the injuries, and we understand that
I saw on a sitcom one time, and it's just funny, but the wife's like, hey, did you get that basement cleared out or whatever? And he was like, oh, my back's been hurting. And she goes, a back pain, the back pain that limits your ability to do, normal household chores for 5 years is a problem. You need to see a doctor.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's funny or whatever. So then later on that night, they're getting ready for bed, and he's like, hey, and she's like, I got a headache. He goes, a headache that lasts 5 years is a problem. You need to see a doctor. So
I get it.
At least these people see doctors, just doctors that are on the payroll of the team, I guess. I don't know.
Probably not the best ones, though. Again, but
in high school now in this state, in South Carolina, it is now the trainer who is not a part of the school, not an employee of the school. They're subcontracted. Okay, and this is back from when you were in high school, and that trainer answers to nobody at the school. So whenever they evaluate someone, particularly when it comes to concussions, but for anything, they can make the decision to pull that kid out of the game themselves.
Yeah.
The coaches can't pressure them or sway them. I guess they could, but they don't listen to them. That happened to you in high school in that one game, and you came out, and we had that game was won, man. We could have scored 90 points that game. So, and
that was early on.
that since these doctors and the trainers, like for the Atlanta Braves, they're employees of the Atlanta Braves, or they're employees of the St. Louis Cardinals or the Cincinnati Reds or the New York Yankees. So,
they're employed
and a lot of the trainers, it's like they're not actually doctors, so there's no Hippocratic oath. So I don't know, man. It just bugs me. It bugs me because we haven't been at full strength all year. There's some other teams too, but the Braves were able to make it happen and get through it. And now it's starting to take a toll because you got too many guys that, and another thing is, it is a long season. This happens to everybody. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I get that, but it's still not fun when it happens to your team. 3-10.
Let's go to this because, outside all the injuries, first off, you brought up athletic trainers in school and stuff like that. I just wanted to give a shout out to the greatest athletic trainer in the history of my high school days, Brandon Rockwell.
Brian Rockwell. Yep. Brandon Rockwell was the bomb. That guy, he was the real deal.
Brandon Rockwell was probably the greatest athletic trainer
ever.
Great guy. But anyways,
cared about the kids, was invested in the kids, did a good job, knew what he was doing. I remember one time something happened sliding into second, I think you were safe, but you stole a base or whatever. Your hand was jammed, and this was a big game, and you come off, and I remember Brandon looked at your hand and he goes, I don't think anything's wrong, but if the pain is too bad, then you could come out or whatever. And I was standing there, and I remember Coach Garrett was like, this is Drew Evatt, he's not coming out. You were like, I'm going. So and Brandon's like, and I told Brandon, I said, is he okay? He said, if he wasn't okay, I would not let him make the decision because I knew he was going to make a decision to stay in the game. He said, but if he wasn't okay, I would pull him. So
yeah,
I think you were a sophomore then.
But no, but aside from that, the injuries, just the bad runs, and how we haven't been at full strength. Let's take a look at this.
Hey, let me tell you this real quick. This is so funny. Ace's freshman year, okay, he's on the JV, and he and Bryson, and they had this trainer named Frank, okay. Mm-hmm. And this guy was from like Ohio or something. I don't think Frank really cared too much about this job or the kids or whatever. So, and Bryson come out of the game, and so Bryson is Ace, is your brother. They were best friends, okay, since they were like 5 years old, been playing together. We tailgate, hang out with, spend time with his family, and we were just they were tight. Played football and baseball together all their lives, all the way up through high school, and. And Bryson comes out of the game, something's wrong. And I remember Dewey kept saying, what is wrong? And I was like, I don't know. I said, he's over there talking to the trainer, but the trainer's ignoring him. Yeah. Dewey's like, yeah, isn't he? I said, yeah. I said, Brandon went up and said, hey, my hip and my side hurts. And Frank's like, beat it, kid. That literally is what it looked like. And like he's standing there, and Bryson goes up to him, and he's like, beat it. I got this. I mean, I was like, what in the world? He's the opposite of Brandon Rockwell. Rockwell, I think, is still at Woodmont.
He is. I think No, he's at Powdersville now.
Is he? Oh, man.
He's at Powdersville.
That's a legit dude. So him with Muster, oh, my gosh, man. They got it going on there. Justin Jefferson going to the Las Vegas.
Hey, look, great trainer, right? Love that dude.
He was good.
But anyways,
big fan of Drew Evatt too.
Let's go into this. This is crazy. Injuries aside, bad start, not full strength. Let's look at the standings real quick. And if you look, we're just going to focus on the NL. I'm not worried about the AL. The NL is what matters. All right, that's what's going to get you in the playoffs, how you stack up. Don't matter what AL teams do for the Braves. The Dodgers are 52-29.
Anyway.
The Dodgers are 52-29, right? They're in first place. The Brewers are 49-29, and the Braves are 48-31. They're in third. The Phillies are 4.5 games behind, but that's 5 in the loss column. Your video went out.
Yeah, I know. I'm okay. I got it.
That's 5 in the loss column for the Braves, in favor of the Braves. So we're in third place. Philly's close, right? So I told you this a while back. Philly would end up catching us, right? They would at least finish second. You knew that they were going to turn it around at some point, and they have. They're hot. Okay.
Yeah.
Or cold. It is what it is. It happens in a season. But Philly does fall off in August, September historically, so they will not. If they continue that trend, we still have the chance to close out. Also, Braves can go just under 500 the rest of the season and win 90 games. They're still in a great position right now. That's what matters. So also you got the trade deadline coming up in about a month, right? July 31st trade deadline. This is where you go get 2 pitchers. You go get 2 starting pitchers. They don't have to be Cy Young winners. They don't have to be Chris Sales. They don't have to be Paul Skeens. They just need to be serviceable, consistent starting pitchers. You add 2 of those, you give up some prospects, or maybe you give up an outfielder or an extra catcher or somebody like that. Some of these guys you're seeing in the lineup now, give up a few of them. Go get those pitchers. You'll be fine. You have a chance to make a run. So that's what they did in 2021, and they were way behind. They were way further behind in 2021. And they were still buyers. Right now, if you go in this, the Braves should be buyers going at the trade deadline.
Absolutely, it should be buyers. But, in 2021, there was a lot of position players they needed because we were just so deficient, And then also the secret was that bullpen. And we have a comparable bullpen now, But
you need 2 starters. You need a starter or 2.
Yeah, because, you had Matzik, Mentor, and then Will Smith. And so when the Braves would get into the 7th inning with the lead in the playoffs that in 2021
and now,
was over.
Now guess who you got? Guess who you got now? You got Dylan Lee, Robert Suarez, and Raisel Iglesias.
Yeah, I mean you're tight. I mean that's comparable. These guys might actually be more talented, but that group really hit a run there. But anyway, so that's that. We have the bullpen, and we went and got the bats then, and we had a little better pitching. So another thing is, I don't know why you just don't. The Braves have like 4 guys who are like top 20 prospect pitchers. I don't know why you don't just bring up a couple of those guys and let them pitch some of these games. Look, if you're going to give Bryce Elder the ball that many times, let one of those cats pitch, man. Yeah. Bring up the dude that is that.
Bring up Cam Caminiti. Hurston Waldrop.
Yeah. He's the one. He's the one in who's
he's
the
recovering.
One in,
he's in rehab right now.
Who's the one in Gwinnett? Anyway, there's a guy in Gwinnett. I heard him talking about him on the radio the other day. So, but anyway, yeah.
I forgot. But the bottom line is
I keep up with the peripheral as much as you do. So
the fans are panicking. Braves fans are losing their mind. They think it's over, and it's like, dude, we're still in 3rd place in the NL. We have plenty of options at the trade deadline. We have a good roster. We're a little hurt right now. All we need to do is stay around 500. We're in the playoffs and just make some moves. If the market presents an opportunity, Anthopoulos will take advantage and he will get somebody. He always does it. If the opportunity presents it, do it.
There's no doubt. Yeah, there's no doubt. They're getting in the playoffs. That's going to happen. So no worries there. I don't know, man. I guess I see what you're saying, but
just don't worry too much. But yeah, that's
no, I'm not panicking. I'm not panicking.
I'm not either. I'm not really worried. I mean, I understand that.
You have a 5-game lead, and you've had the worst 2 weeks that anybody can have. I mean, so
that's all it is.
Except when the Mets lost 12 in a row.
Yeah, that's the worst.
We do that. I give up.
We won't do that. That won't happen. We're too good of a team. We won't let that happen.
If we could just find a way to not have to play in San Diego.
That would mean that Sale would have to have 2 or 3 bad games in a row to lose that many, and he ain't doing that. He's just not.
Right.
He's too good to let them lose a game every 3.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. He's and I like Chris Sale.
So, and like you said, Chris Sale's the oldest pitcher on the staff, and he somehow is the most healthy. He's never hurt. The dude is freaking. I mean, it's like whatever he's doing works. He preps himself better than any pitcher that we have. It's not even close. I mean, he's built for the long haul. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. All I want to talk about for the Braves. I mean, like I said, there's just too. Everybody's freaking out, and you shouldn't. There's still so much season left. I mean, we're not even at the trade deadline. We're not even July yet. We haven't hit July yet. You're not even really halfway there, right? You're barely at that mark. So to be freaking out right now is kind of crazy. I don't think you should. So that's just my opinion. But anyways, we haven't even hit the halfway point. We're not even at 81 games yet. So look.
We'll see where we are at the break.
All-Star break, cool. You still got the trade deadline, and Anthopoulos will make moves. He'll do what he has to do, like he did in 2021 when he found Soler and he found these extra guys. So anyways,
Duval.
But moving on, there's one more thing that I wanted to hit on, and we're going to pivot a little bit. I know we have our SEC preview coming up, but you and I are Gamecock fans, okay? And for the record, we will be doing another episode with our college football playoff predictions. We'll do a South Carolina and Clemson deep dive. I'm going to have my Uncle Ruben on, who's a Clemson fan, along with Ace. He'll be with us. So it'll be a 4-man, podcast for that episode. Ruben will give us a Clemson preview, and he kind of follows them very closely. We'll give us Simeon Chief. We'll give us South Carolina, what we think. Maybe Ace a little bit too. We'll give our college football playoff predictions. But I wanted to hit on something with South Carolina football, because we're South Carolina fans.
Christopher Wilson might be a Clemson fan.
Yeah, he might. I don't know. He seems like he is the way he talks.
I mean, Ace is a Gamecock, but Christopher Wilson might be a Clemson fan.
Yeah, Christopher Wilson's probably a Clemson fan. But anyways, I wanted to ask you something, and this is kind of what I thought. I'm going to go ahead and give because they're not one of the top 4 or 5 teams I have in the conference, but I have South Carolina finishing around 8th in the conference. But I have South Carolina going 8-4. And the reason is because I called you last night and I said, dude, this might be the deepest. I think this roster is better than 2024. They're just younger, so you won't see as many draft picks because not as many of them are going to go to the league after this year. But I looked at the 2-deep roster for everything, man, and you know, I'll give you a preview real quick, and then I'm going to ask you what you think about success for us. But look at the 2-deep roster. You have Sellers at quarterback. We know that's a given. You have Matthew Fuller and Christian Clark, the Texas transfer at running back. Nick Harbor, Nitro Tuggle, Mazeo Bennett, Jaden Sellers, and Donovan Murphy at receiver. You have one of the best offensive lines you've had because you picked up 2 big guys in the portal, including the number 1 offensive tackle in Jacarius Peak.
As long as Peak is healed up from that basketball injury.
You look at the defense. You got Dylan Stewart, Caleb Herring, and Julian Walker, who was a 5-star that you just recruited in this last cycle defensive end. You got him on the edge. You got Troy Pikes back up the middle along with GBD, Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy. You have Sean Murphy and J.R. Johnson at linebacker with Justin Okoronkwo, same linebacking core. You have Judge Collier with Vakari Swan still at corner. And at safety, you have Jazavian Currents and David Busey, who's 2 of the best younger safeties. I'm telling you, I was looking at this, man, and I was like, God, this team is going to be really good. Problem is the schedule is going to inhibit them, and it's going to keep us from winning more than 8 games to me. But I wanted to ask you this. Beamer's on a tear right now on the recruiting trail. He comes off a 4-8 season last year and somehow was able to return a lot of talent, got a great offensive coordinator. What constitutes success for Shane Beamer? What does South Carolina and Shane Beamer have to do this year for you to say, yep, let's keep him?
You know, wins and losses matter. They just do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But what you just said, Beamer always recruits well. Okay. Mm-hmm. The guy is just good at it. He has some people on his staff that are good at it. He's good at it. He's a cheerleader. He's energetic. He's young, guys like that. Here's the problem. Okay. Some of the kids are developed, pretty well. And I'm talking about on one side of the ball, defense. All the other players are not developing. Okay. Mm-hmm. In fact, Sellers regressed last year. All right. I mean, he had Dowell Loggins who found some magic just by letting Sellers go and said, okay, I'm too stupid to be an elite coach. And yes, Dowell Loggins, you are not qualified. Okay. And he said, so I'm just going to let this guy go out there and do whatever.
Yeah.
Then you get Mike Shula, who said, well, I'm smarter than everybody. Guess what? That's not true.
That's not true.
Every job you've ever had, you stunk it up,
Yeah.
And so he says, hey, Sellers, don't do what you do best. Okay. Where, look, there guys, Chad Morris. Okay. The secret to Chad Morris and Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian and all of these offensive guys, Art Briles, what's his name? The crazy guy just passed away, man. The mad scientist.
Oh, Mike Leach.
Yeah, Mike Leach, even Les Miles. The thing about these guys, okay, although they might be quirky or whatever, is
Steve Sarkisian.
They do everything that they can to get their best athletes in a position to do what they do best, okay? If you're going to race someone and you got a Ferrari, you have to mash the gas, okay? You're not going to win a race by not mashing the gas. And Mike Shula basically took the gas pedal out of the car. All right, because Lenora Sellers, hold on. I want to get this right. Here. Okay, I'm going to use it. Lenora Sellers was a ineffectual, privileged, effete, soft penis debutante last year. Okay,
yeah.
That's what he was. Okay, he would not have been good in a street fight. It was, hey, look, I know that a 190-pound safety isn't very scary, but straight beeline out of bounds. And so that's what happened. And it started before that. It started in the bowl game against Illinois, which we should have won by 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I'm not the guy that just forgives things. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're supposed to do something, you have to do it. You can't be, for example, if you're supposed to show up to work, okay, and your job is to show up today and make 30 sandwiches. You can't show up, okay, break 2 machines and make no sandwiches. I'm sorry, it's unacceptable,
right.
Okay? You can't miss the mark by that far, All right.
Yeah.
And these guys missed the mark. Okay. So I'm hoping Kendall Briles will tell Lenore Sellers, hey, it's okay. It's okay for you to be an athlete. That's the whole thing here. Okay. Also, Nick Harbor, everybody's like, well, he's just not getting the nuances. He's not developed or whatever. Now, who in the F is coaching this guy? Okay. This guy's the fastest dude in a college football uniform. How you not find a way to use him? Okay. And I mean, they throw like a couple of long passes. It's like, whoa, wow, how did he do that? Well, the coach, somebody messed something up, and he ran a go route, and three guys tried to gang tackle him, but he's too fast for them to get their hands on, and so he caught an 83-yard touchdown pass. That's how you do it, okay?
Yeah.
So for Beamer, I'm not looking much in wins and losses, okay? And like I said, we'll go over this Sunday or whatever, but I'm looking to see if we move forward, because Beamer has hired either a buddy or someone that has some funky pictures of him doing something he shouldn't do. Okay. How else do you expect? Kenny Loggins, okay, pretty good saxophone player. Dude's offense is shit. Mike Shula, his dad is a legend. Okay. Yep. And he is, that's like this. Michael Jordan. And then, Michael Jordan's sons who played like college basketball or whatever. Okay. All right. Right now, I could probably beat his sons at 54 years old. Same thing. Mike Shula did not get his dad's, winning coaching gene. All right. So it skipped him. Mom is like, a ballet dancer and oh, he ran Alabama in the ground. I mean, so, I want to see some development on the off. Now, he made it. I don't think he owes any favors to Kendall Briles or to his family or to Art, his dad, or anything like that. I don't know what the deal is, but, he made a good hire for the first time. Okay. I gave Lincoln Riley credit in our Big Ten thing for hiring Gary Patterson. Okay. Yeah. So I'll give Beamer credit for that hire. Clayton White is Clayton White is
as good as they come.
Do you know the publication or the whatever the media releases it as Torian Gray and Clayton White as co-defensive coordinators? And what the heck does that mean?
Don't know.
I don't know. I don't like it.
But
Clayton White has done a standout job at South Carolina.
Yes, and you know what? I think Torian Gray, but I will say this: I think Torian Gray is one of the best DBs coaches in college football. I think he just is.
No doubt.
What he's done.
And I'll tell you something else too.
I mean,
Judge Collier could be the best cover guy in the country.
Yeah. So could Swain.
Got all the skills.
So could Bakari Swain.
Yeah. Swain relies because he's such an explosive athlete. But he relies a lot more on that. And if you're to be a good cover guy, your technique has to be. I don't care how good an athlete you are. Okay, you only do that job well if you. Jalen Ramsey is one of the freak athletes. Okay, but that guy works hard. Okay,
no, he is.
He does. And you look at all the great corners. Darrell Revis. Go back to my day. Lester Hayes, Mike Haynes. Those guys worked on their technique.
Yep, that was
so
a big
it was
thing.
More than just their athleticism. And Judge Collier, I think he's going to be special for us. I expect 7 or 8 interceptions this year. So, in fact, I look at the last half of the schedule, and I only see 2 games that I think we'll win.
So basically,
but we could be 5-1 or 6-0. Listen, Kent State win, Towson win, Mississippi State win, Alabama. That's a win. Okay, that was a win. That was a win last year if Mike Shula wasn't stinking up the planet. Yeah, Mike Shula, you are a terrible football coach. And then Kentucky, we rolled them up. So. And then Tennessee, and then Florida. Florida's still working things out. Now they got a better coach. Okay,
John Summerall's a good coach. He's good.
Yeah. I don't think
so. Success for you isn't the record. It's did we take a step forward? Did we improve?
Yeah, because the schedule's tough, man. I mean, honestly, I mean, Alabama could be better. Okay. So you lose that game. Kentucky could maybe get you. Mississippi State, probably not. Florida.
I don't think Kentucky
Then you've got Tennessee at Oklahoma, which we are undefeated there, by the way. We never lost at Oklahoma. Texas A&M. You got Arkansas, maybe. Then you got Georgia, and then, of course, at Clemson. So, which Beamer hasn't ever lost
No, he
He hasn't won at Williams-Brice, but he hasn't lost at Clemson.
In the last 5 years, the home team hasn't won in the rivalry. So
yeah, no,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's just
yeah. Beamer can't win at home.
But you know what? I'm gonna give you a quote. I looked. This was a while back when Kendall Briles was announced.
Just to be honest with you, if South Carolina did go 7-5, I consider that a success. You know, and so then I would be willing to look at the other stuff. And if I look at the other stuff, and the offense, the offense doesn't go 3.5 games where they can't get a first down, which that's what we saw last year. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for.
And here's something.
And you won't be 7-5 without the offense getting better.
No, you won't. That's why I think 8-4 with an improved offense and Sellers being able to cut loose again is a definitely possibility.
8-4 is 8-4 and the Outback Bowl or the Gator Bowl. I mean that's the ceiling, I think, and so
yes,
I'd be okay with that.
Now, let me tell you this, and this was back when Kendall Briles was announced as offense coordinator. He had been with the program for about 2 weeks. That was it. He had only been the offense coordinator officially for 2 weeks. He came in for a press conference, and the question asked was, how much have you watched film from last year's offense and looked at it and decided what you want to do? And his answer was, I haven't even looked at any of the film from last year. We haven't even looked at the offense. That's not something that we think about. That answer right there was like, thank you. He said, we ain't even worried about this offense from last year.
Well, you see, he could watch that and not bust up a TV, though, because he's not like a Gamecock fan or whatever.
No.
And he had nothing to do with it. But as a Gamecock fan, if I had to go watch some of those games again, I would break something.
No, I know. But what was funny is he said he didn't even pay attention to Shula's. He didn't even care what he ran because he knows that it's not what he's going to do. Yeah. And it's not that right there won him points for me. He basically said, Shula sucks. I don't care about his offense. There's nothing to look at, nothing to replicate.
Right.
And that right there was insane. I was just like, wow.
I'm working for myself. Hey, just walked in. He works a lot during the summer, so just walked in from work. So the man, the myth. So, but anyway, for me, we will not be 8-4 unless we're better. You know, if we're 4-8 and it looks a little more promising, you know, I guess. I mean, I still think, you know, Beamer has to go. If we don't win 6 games, Beamer has to go. Problem is that's not going to be easy. So. But I will say this: if we get things in gear, we could possibly be 6-0.
Yes,
Tennessee could be coming to South Carolina, and that means we'd probably be like 14-15 in the country. I mean, you know,
we could be higher. Yeah, could have us higher. Yeah. You never know.
Yeah, maybe. But you look at the schedule. That first half, the schedule is backloaded.
Yeah, it is. It is. But that's what I'm saying. That's all I wanted to ask you. Just.
All right, it's a good. Maybe we're going to Clemson 11-0, coming off a 45-6 win over Georgia.
No, definitely not. But we could be going into Clemson at 9-2 with losses to A&M and Georgia. That could be a possibility. I don't think. I think you're two guaranteed losses. I think there's 2 guaranteed. For sure, Walt Dip Tula guaranteed losses. All right, and that's Georgia and Texas A&M.
So that means we win one of them.
Yeah, 50% guarantee right there.
Yep.
I am 50% on guarantees.
He even said one time, he said my guarantees were 64%.
Yeah, okay.
I'm afraid you don't understand the definition of the word guarantee.
Guarantee, but okay. No, but look, this team is one of the most. This team is better than 2024 on paper. They're just younger. They're not as experienced, so they will take some growing pains. That's why I think 8-4 is probably where I'm at. It's where I'm stuck at. The
2024 team was led by a sophomore.
And I'll give you my 4 losses.
Freshman.
I'll give you my 4 losses right now that I have at South Carolina at the moment. That's Texas A&M, Georgia, Oklahoma, and Clemson. Those are my 4 losses. I have 8-4. With those 4 losses, you beat everybody else.
I think we're going to beat Clemson this year.
I don't, and I think
we're more likely to lose Tennessee.
Look, we're at home. I just
go Vols.
Well, we're at Clemson, and yes, Beamer hasn't lost there. But I think this is the year. But like I said, man, I think South Carolina's 6-0 going into Tennessee. I really do think they are. And I think they go 7-0, and then I think they lose to A&M, they lose to Oklahoma, they lose to Georgia and Clemson. I think they lose 4 of those last 5. I really do. I think that's what happens. They're 7-0, and then they finish 8-4. They go 1-4 in their last 5. That's how I have it. But we'll cover it Sunday. I just wanted to get your thoughts. But yeah, success for me under Beamer is the same thing as you. What does the offense do? Does it look better?
Yeah.
Are we
Has to
sustaining
be
drives?
some improvement.
Like, are we not calling running back draw? Are we not calling running back draws 3 times in a row for no gain?
Yeah.
What like, are we doing something different? Lincoln Riley's a big screen guy. He's going to utilize the screens. He's going to do quick hitters, and that's something that's going to happen. Something Shula didn't do. Shula wanted Sellers to drop back and make 5-step drops and throw the ball down the field. He can't do that every time. He can't. It's not him.
Not with that offensive line that we have.
No, not. Now, the offensive line this year will be a lot better. It will be light years better. Promise you. Can already see it.
But
yeah,
defenses.
That's all I wanted to go. I mean, that's it. I just, like I said, it probably went a little longer, but hey, there's your filler episode, man.
There you go.
We got
all right.
And
we'll see y'all. We'll drop a good one Sunday.
Yeah, we got a big one Sunday coming up. SEC. It may go long. We may have to do 2 episodes. We may have to record back to back and
that one's gonna be wild.
Because we have, like I said, the last couple conferences has been okay. We only talk about the top 3 to 5 teams. The SEC, I think most of us got 9 to 10 at least that we want to.
Yeah, I got 10 too. Well, if I want to talk about South Carolina, I have to go back to like 15. I'm just kidding.
You don't have.
But I don't have us
middle of the.
I don't have us in the top 8. I don't have us in the top 8. So
whatever, man.
But hey, we'll cover it Sunday.
All right, sounds good. Well, I appreciate it. That'll do it for this episode, which isn't episode 11. We're not going to call it an official episode, but I'll upload it later. And Braves update.
These are like quick blasts.
Yep, quick ones. So, like I said, Ace will be joining us back Sunday, right? I assume he will. He's not doing anything else.
Ace is back Sunday, right? Can I get confirmation on that? Yeah, Ace is in for the SEC on Sunday. Confirmation. He don't work on Sundays.
Let's get it.
So
let's get it. Cool. All right.
We eat after church and then we record.
Well, that'll be it. That'll conclude it. And hope y'all enjoyed watching us. We're up to 12 subscribers now. We've gained 2 subscribers in the last 3 days. So we're up to 12.
Yay, thank you.
So we have some more viewers.
Subscribe button. Drop a comment, Say, why is your old man so hard on some of these coaches? Because they're morons. Somebody needs to tell them. It's better if someone tells the kid, you need to learn to play the piano because you're not a linebacker.
Somebody other than Twinkomania comment. That's my Twinkomania is my friend Kane from the Army. He's a goofball, clown, and that's just, you can't take everything serious. He is just a goofball.
Okay, all the other stuff I was fine with, but you know what bothered me when he made the comment about 3 minutes in the microwave for a Salisbury steak. If that cat ate the Salisbury steak that I made, okay, he wouldn't ever buy another frozen dinner again. Okay?
I know, but anyways, yes, he's a goofball clown, so you just got to deal with that. But he does watch, and he does look at some of the stuff, so whatever. And when we talk about the NFL, we need to hit on the Browns a little bit because he's from Ohio and he's a Cleveland guy. So
well, hey, if you can vet him, he can come on the show.
Yeah, his takes are going to be a little wild, but it might be entertaining at the same time.
Look, as long as he follows the, the rules. So
that's fine. We'll do that.
We've had a few F-bombs, which I would rather not, but we're not bad
clean.
though. We're not bad. We're not really censored, but we're not bad. So, oh, hey man, forgot. I went the whole thing without it.
Oh yeah. Gotta get the back scratcher in.
Yep.
Well, that's going to conclude this.
Peace.
Appreciate y'all tuning in.
See you next time.